Thank you. Certainly I want to take this opportunity in my maiden speech to highlight two seismic events that have taken place within my own constituency of Northampton since the Assembly sat back in July. Our tourism pool has been greatly strengthened further after the hidden jewel of Grace Hill's Moravian settlement was awarded UNESCO World Heritage status, joining the Giant's Causeway and having been awarded this prestigious title. I want to pay tribute to Dr. David Johnson and the Grace Hill Trust, whose vision and years of dedication of work towards preserving and restoring this 1759 Moravian settlement has led to this historic award for the village. Moving on to my predecessor and the new Honourable Member for Northampton, Mr Jim Allister MP. This is the Dead End Unionist who brought 54 years of the Paisley dynasty in Northampton to an end. A man of principle who stood the test of time and has been dead right on his analysis of sinking sand Stormont is built upon and the dangers of the protocol. Whilst many in this chamber won't like to admit it publicly, Jim leaves this house a poor place. He will be missed for his attention to detail and the level of scrutiny he has brought to this chamber since first elected in 2011. Yes, this is a daunting vacancy to fill, but I do take refuge and rely on the verse, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and that is where my faith will remain. Moving on to this motion before us today, the motion itself raises a number of important questions for the Justice Minister. Chief among them is why, when questioned by any member of this House about any aspect of the PSNI, the Minister decrees that is an operational matter and that the question should be directed to the Chief Constable. Yet when the Chief Constable takes the case for funding for the PSNI to the head of the UK Government, he is reprimanded by the most senior official in the Minister's department. Does the Minister agree with what her Permanent Secretary wrote? It's a simple yes or no answer that we're looking for. Before coming to this House, I served for 5 years on the local PCSP, and I know all too well the pressures the policing budget is under. I hear the frustration of many constituents who tell me they cannot get police officers when they need them. Likewise, I hear the frustration from PSNI officers who simply do not have the resources to deliver the service they want to be able to offer the public and that the public rightly demand. Throughout my time as a councillor, I've worked closely with the police on many issues and indeed frequently on rural crime, which is a blight and scourge on many of our communities. Mr Speaker, or should I say Principal Speaker, I would be failing in my duty as a public representative if I didn't take this opportunity to highlight the fact that there are a number of things which the PSNI does spend its money on which I believe are not prudent. I think, for example, of the LGBT network, which receives funding from the PSNI budget. Staggeringly, this network has been permitted to use the police internal email system to promote revision classes, notes and interview preparation for promotions, which are only available to officers who identify themselves as LGBT+. Unsurprisingly, when asked about this, the Equality Commission have reminded us that it is unlawful for any employer to discriminate against its employees on the grounds of sexual orientation. I welcome the fact that the PSNI found reverse gear on this issue, albeit only coming after or under pressure. Also, the PSNI need to be mindful that continuing to pander to certain groups is increasingly creating a crisis of confidence within the unionist loyalist community towards the police. I suspect there will be those within this House who won't want to hear it, but it is nonetheless true that it is inconceivable that a PSNI officer would fly a Union flag or orange standard out the window of their squad car. Yet when this happened with the GIA flag, it was not only excused but positively welcomed by some within this chamber. A PSNI squad car cannot perform donuts in the road while using the siren inappropriately and waving a divisive flag out the window one day without undermining the authority of officers to pull over a young lad for simply carrying out driving offences the next. If you want, yes.
There is nothing divisive about an Armagh flag.
The member's own personal view, but
Members, an
certainly
extra
members
minute.
from the unionist community take a different take on that, Mr McNulty. We all want to see the chronic underfunding of the PSNI addressed, but I and my party also want to see the police putting to better use the current PSNI resources, as well as addressing the crisis in confidence that widely exists as a matter of urgency.